Hey, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. In today's video, I got some updates for you guys on the market, but also some updates on some massive airdrops that are on the horizon. Now, general market sentiment is in the toilet. It's pretty bad considering how many blows that we're taking. It was bad enough the prices have been terrible, but now more and more things are coming out regarding market makers, liquidity providers. A lot of this stuff is obviously around the Solana ecosystem, and we still have celebrities like Adam22 or quasi celebrities, let's say, and David Portnoy or whatever, right? All these guys who are low lifes, who are continuously extracting, and I'll talk about that in a second. But before we get into it, just remember, nothing I say is financial advice. If you're watching this video, you're doing the smart thing, because typically times like these are the best times to purchase versus buying into the hysteria and the hype that a lot of people on YouTube and Twitter will perpetuate once we are breaking in price discovery and making new all-time highs. Please do not fall for that nonsense. The best time to buy is in the lows. I don't think that's just yet, but I think we're super close. Now, with that being said, it would be great for me and sort of metrics if you would like the video. So hit the like button if you can already. It takes like 2 seconds. Share the video with anyone you know in the crypto space. Make sure you're following me on Twitter, where I am live streaming this, as well as subscribing on YouTube. You can check my wallet out on the bank. For those of you wondering why there are so many fluctuations, I'm buying and selling a ton of NFTs. Right now, I'm holding on to a bunch of them. And finally, if you want extra coaching, guidance, and support, I have my services linked down below. Now, market is in the fear category at 37%. If we take a look over here, Solana's gotten destroyed, down 11% this week. It's down like almost 35 to 55 basis point, or 55 points, let's just say, over the last 2 to 3 weeks. It has really slid hard. Guys, I want you to know, people will dog on Solana. Like, I'm sure a lot of Ethereum maxis and maxis on Pulse Chain and whatever will tell you, oh, Sol's garbage, it's full of scammers. No, scammers will always go to where the money's at. So while I do think there's a lot of problems that need to be flushed out of the Solana ecosystem, I think this only took root because it was the best chain at the time in terms of sort of doing your transactions, doing your business. If you look at any sort of developer, most of them were going to Sol. That's just the reality of it. Base was a close second, but let's not lie to ourselves and say that we got to write off the entire ecosystem because of it. But at the same time, please do not just exempt the people who have been scamming. What I want to be very clear on is we have gone through hell. Like, it has been very, very rough for us over the last little while. Basically, we have people like the LA Vape Cabal. I'm going to bring up this tweet right now. They're now, one of them is, putting an apology video. Oh, I got caught up in the Kool-Aid. Listen, the reality is there's so many ways to make money in this space. You don't have to do it the wrong way. A lot of these guys will shortcut their way to success. It's just, traditional social media. You don't make money. You don't get a following telling people boring stuff and, doing it the honest way. The best way is to lie, cheat, and steal. That's the reality. But hey, now that you're caught, I don't want to forgive them, and I don't think you should either. These scammers, people like No Thread, Not Thread Guy, Frank to God, all these scumbags, they're counting on you to turn the other cheek, counting on you to have empathy. These guys thought you were stupid enough to sort of basically continuously steal from you. They rigged the game, told you that, honestly, if you weren't making it, it's on you. Skill issue. But the reality was they were rigging the casino, getting insider information, and they're not going to stop ever. They want you to forgive them so they can scam you again. Do not let that happen. I know there are some good people out there with good hearts who just can't bring themselves to condemn this behavior. They're like, oh, but they feel bad. No, they didn't feel bad when they were stealing millions of dollars. And if you forgive them now, if you let these these bad people off the hook, more people will suffer in the future. So I really recommend not doing that. Now, with that being said, the market is going to rebound. I think we still have to, get to the liquidation zones that I've been talking about. I'm looking especially on Ethereum around $21 to $2,200 in that range. That's the liquidation wick. I really believe that we should get a very strong bounce there. Hopefully that's the end of it, and then we can trend upward. This sideways chop going between 26 to 2,800 isn't really helping anyone else. And we're seeing the same thing with every other coin on this list. I'm not saying you can't buy these tokens. Just be very clear here that you've got to have a more of a long-term outlook, or you can wait it out for really good prices, which I do think are coming. Like I said, when that happens, I'll be making a video. So make sure you're subscribed and you won't miss it. Now, one thing I do want to address is whenever I finally made that video on ranking our tokens, I'll be honest, I can't sit there and talk about every single token. So my apologies if your token wasn't covered. But let me tell you what's not the right way to do it. If I didn't cover your token to post that, oh, this guy needs to do more research, he didn't cover ICP or other nonsense. Like, listen, I covered the tokens that most people will want to hear about. I'm not covering random fringe tokens like ICP. Hey, guess what? I got a tiny bit of it in a side wallet too. That does not mean that I wanted to cover it. There's so many things wrong with ICP. Not going to get into it, but let me tell you something. I covered the majority, the sort of more known, more asked about tokens on this channel. And if you don't like it, that's my opinion, right? Now, what I will also say is somebody came at me because I talked about Caspa. I was honest. KRC20 mints were a horrible experience. And they were like, no, they're amazing. Well, I know what I went through. I know what our group went through doing this. We made a lot of money doing it, but it's still bad. But I recommend you watch this video. It's not about what's going to 10, 100x, although I do bring up some of those, but it's really ranked on how you should build your portfolio and what tokens have the longevity, in this cycle. So let's get started with the first of many big announcements. The first one is around Kaito. I've been telling you guys for a while to go out there and farm Kaito. Very easy, in fact, in the sense of all you got to do is just keep posting insights. The more engagement you get on it, especially based on, who is more popular. Like, it's kind of like that nosedive episode from Black Mirror. Just keep posting your insights. If they're valuable, people will like them. People will follow you. And that's the best way to earn yaps. I earned like 90 something, which is okay. There's obviously a lot of moon boys out there saying it's going to be $100 per yap because yaps turn into Kaito tokens. Honestly, I think that's way too aggressive. I've been saying around $30 would be where I'd be very happy. We'll see how it goes. Now, the snapshot was taken a couple days ago for yaps, and they announced the snapshot for the NFT will be happening right after. Once the NFT snapshot took place yesterday, the NFT basically sold off, which is not unexpected. One thing I want you to if you watch this channel, one thing I want you to understand is where you can actually make value, because there are lots of places in this space where you can earn a ton of cash. Let me talk about this one, for example. Whenever you have NFTs that are holding airdrops or going to have an airdrop snapshot, we saw this with Pudgy Penguins, we saw this happen with the Zuki, they typically will sell off massively following the snapshot. Not just that, but the amount that they get reduced is around the amount that people speculate the airdrop value to be, which is typically like a dividend. Now, whenever things sell off, things always go in extremes. So typically, these NFTs will sell off way more than they should. We saw this happen with Pudgy Penguins. It went on to 13 Ethereum first, then bounced back up to like 17, went all the way to 25, and then dumped again. I'll talk a bit about some of the reasons why after. With Kaito, unfortunately for me, I got the timing wrong, so I was sleeping still at the time. I would have woken up in the middle of the night, and I would have grabbed some NFTs in the 2 to 3 Ethereum mark. I grabbed some around 4, which is okay. But let me tell you something. If you grab an NFT for 2, 3, or 4 ETH and it goes to 550, well, guess what? That's a lot of profit. Now, I understand some of you don't have the capital, but anytime an airdrop snapshot is taking place, take a look at the NFT, wait for it to be oversold, buy it, flip it. You don't have to hold on to it, okay? Steven, I'm just gonna answer your question quickly. I'm not gonna answer this question here. Please watch the video I mentioned literally 5 minutes ago, okay? Now, with that being said, Kaito will be on the base network and it goes live tomorrow. So Thursday, February 20th at noon UTC, which is 4 p.m. Dubai time. Tokenomics are going to be released right around the claim time, and then trading goes live at 1 p.m. the same day. So if you want more details, you can get the Kaito white paper and all that information linked in the description. Definitely check it out. Super excited. One thing I want you guys to be aware of as well is regardless of whether or not you have, earned the airdrop or not, if you earn the airdrop, I will be selling, just so you guys know. I made this article a couple days ago talking about my path. So how do you maximize airdrops? Why I sell them, what else you can do. I talk about shorting airdrops, what shorting means and how it works, and then ways to do it. Right now, I'm shorting Kaito. I'm up like 8 or 9% on my short on Avo. Definitely read this article to learn how you can do that, because you don't need to have tokens to do it, okay? Next update is on Linea. So I saw somebody asking the question on when is the Linea airdrop going to happen. We still haven't gotten confirmation. This is a very positive sign. They mentioned Q1 would be the time we get the airdrop. That's still another up to 6 weeks or 5 to 6 weeks from here. But they did finally confirm the Sybil list or Sybil list or whatever. And basically, they identified 3,500 false positives that have now been removed. Definitely go and check to make sure that you have your status. You have completed the proof of humanity. Do that as soon as possible. Do not come here when the airdrop happens, sitting here complaining that, oh my God, my humanity wasn't taken. Okay, well, I don't care. Do this now. Make sure if it's not done, go in their Discord and mention it. Now, you guys know that I was very clear that I was not really going to touch Abstract. I was shooting a video and then deleted it because I didn't want you guys to waste your time. Well, the way Abstract does their wallets with AGW, the Abstract Global Wallet, they had a massive security flaw. And what happened was one app called Cardex, basically if you interacted with it, they were allowed to have all of your Ethereum. You didn't have to approve anything after. Hey, you interacted with us, we can steal all your Ethereum. A lot of people lost a lot of money. They lost a lot of Ethereum yesterday. And unfortunately, while this panic was going on, the Abstract team was nowhere to be found. Tiger was the first to release something. It took a very, very long time. Abstract responded maybe like half a day later, and Cardex responded a little bit after them, which is really, really bad. I had like maybe $2,000 on Abstract. I immediately bridged all but like $50 to $100 out because there's zero trust that I have for Abstract. They have not, at least to right now, they have not made their users whole, and I don't think Cardex plans to do it as well. I believe what I was seeing all over Twitter was, well, they should have done their own research before they connected their app with us, and they should have revoked or whatever. So it's pretty disgusting. I'll be honest. I hope that I hope Abstract as a chain forces Cardex to either make people whole or find a solution, because that is absolutely disgusting. Okay, so I've included both of these here. Basically, like their last update, the only update is, we'd like to thank our users and Abstract teams for help. We're working to track the flow of funds and recovery. Yeah, great. They better do something. Caldera Foundation noticed today that they are going to have a retroactive airdrop, ERA. Just so you guys know, the ticker is ERA, if you're wondering why you're seeing that all over crypto Twitter. Now, there are 2 active raffles going on in Jumper. Make sure that you have been using your JLP or Jumper profile, right? Like basically what that will do is you have your specific level, and based on your level, you can qualify for the raffle for Monadverse or the Wandering Shark. So if you want to get the Monadverse whitelist raffle, right? Basically, you can get a whitelist spot based on your level. Just go and sort of do the instructions here. You have until tomorrow to complete that. The same thing goes for the Wandering Whale Sharks. They've already had their NFT mint. I believe their NFT is worth around $800 to $1,000. Once again, just join the raffle. You just got to follow some instructions here. I've linked all of them in the description below. Next update is on OpenSea. As you know, OpenSea launched OpenSea 2, and part of this is going to get what's called shipments. You get shipments from XP, and this is to get the C token. Now, if you haven't joined OpenSea, if you haven't logged in, make sure you do that, because I didn't log into the new OpenSea, and I was doing activity, and it didn't give me any XP, which was a huge wake-up call for me. So I'm definitely going to make sure I do that going forward. There's a lot of complaints around what was going with OpenSea, because a lot of farmers, we saw this happen with Blur. Basically, farmers went in and they would just buy and sell NFTs, and it became just a dumping market, and it made it very easy because we don't have to pay royalty fees, which I like. I don't like having to pay royalty fees. I like that it's optional, but I don't like when farmers get basically rewarded for dumping. So you saw Pudgy Penguin and a bunch of other NFT collections get completely brutalized. Pudgy was sitting around 10 to 11 ETH, and since the OpenSea campaign started, it's dropped about 2 to 3 Ethereum. Right? Milady has dropped as well. You can see the big collections, they've all gotten absolutely smashed, except for the collection that I want to get smashed because I want to buy a CryptoPunk. But hey, it is what it is. Now, Definzer, basically from OpenSea, right? He's the CEO and one of the founders. They've heard feedback from the XP system, which I'll be honest, I believe is a little too late, because they've already destroyed a lot of the value that was sitting in NFTs by forcing people to basically flip. And when they saw that people didn't want to hold on to their NFTs, they were just dumping so that they didn't lose even more value. So while we don't think liquidity rewards are inherently bad, we understand there are a lot of strong emotions toward point systems, and the NFT market as a whole is in a whole unique spot right now. We're building OS to support this space long term. Complete bullshit. And basically, they focused their rewards program on XP shipments, which were designed as a flexible way to reward broad participation in OS2, such as buying and holding. So basically, now they're going to start doing a bit differently. So like if you hold, if you hold an NFT for a top volume project for more than 3 months, the longer the time held, the bigger the boost. You get some shipments this way. I still think this is too little too late. Kind of pissed at OpenSea. Obviously, this is nice that they made the change, but literally they waited, I think, like 2 weeks to do this, and it's completely just crushed the market. Next update for you guys is on Monad testnet. They launched their testnet today. Make sure you connect the applicable wallets. So you can connect Rabbit, you can connect Phantom, you can go and add your testnet, and then you can go and sort of claim some testnet tokens by entering your wallet address if you haven't already. And finally, Tevaera, which was on ZK Sync, is doing a campaign on Base. Basically, they have the details here. It goes from February 15th to March 3rd. You have to be a holder of one of the following meme communities: Toshi, Brett, TYBG, Bassg, Dog and Me, and then complete at least 7 on-chain daily quests in Tevaera run during the 15-day campaign. You don't have to do them all the way around, and you just have to have a soulbound gamer ID, which costs you less than $1. And there are over 10 million tokens up for grabs. So definitely check it out if you're interested. Ironic that they left ZK Sync, because ZK Sync was where they were. We used to use it on this channel and we were farming, but it is what it is. Zira, for your question, I've already created, you guys ask these questions, but it makes it very clear to me that you guys have not watched the videos on this channel. I literally have 2 or 3 videos on Kaito and Yaps. Solana will underperform. I don't think it's going to underperform. I think you're completely wrong, but I think it will no longer be the leader. So it will not be the leader anymore, in my opinion. I think that overperformance is gone, but I don't think it's going to underperform. I think it will recover. You don't have no idea where all the builders are. I live in Dubai. There are massive communities of builders who come here to do this stuff. I don't see any builders on all these other chains. Maybe Base is the only other one that's competing with it to that same extent. I would agree with Ali. I've been saying this for a long time. Do keep some funds in Linea if you haven't already. I always keep at least 0.1 Ethereum on chains where I haven't collected in an airdrop if it's an Ethereum L2. Is it late to do Kuro? I don't know. I mean, you got a day and a half or a day left, so it's up to you to decide. I made some videos. Go watch the walkthrough. All right. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching. Have a good night.